We've been getting a lot of questions on modal analysis. So this was new, I think the last release inside Testlab Neo. And we can add the FRFs to the input basket, go to the modal dashboard, basically run here. And we made a couple of improvements inside modal analysis in 2606. This is an old convertible database we've had for a while. One of the things we did improvements on is that now I can select an off-diagonal mode, and now we see those two modes on top of each other in a main and overlaid. And if I click on the diagonal, I see a single mode on top of it. But anytime I click in the off-diagonal mode, you should see two modes on top of each other in this main and overlaid area. So there I had two modes on top of each other. So that was one minor improvements. One of the other things we added was we added the MLMM, so the maximum likelihood modal model. So if you turn that add-in on, so the technology behind it is very similar to what we have in Classic. But by default, it brings in the last modes I calculated. So these were from Polymax. And then I can pick down at the bottom, I can pick my number of iterations and my cost function variation. And then I can hit run. And then it's going to calculate these results using MLMM, which is useful in a couple of cases. One is Polymax has some issues if you have a lot of references. And sometimes we get customers with 10 or 20 references. And then the stabilization diagram kind of falls apart. MLMM is a way to give it an initial set of modes, and it helps when you have multiple references. It also is an iterative way to get a cleaner mode shape, and for sure, an iterative way to get better FRF synthesis, in case you want to use those perhaps with simulation, for example. Then what we did here by default is if I pick a map between the MLMM and the original ones, I can click this off-diagonal mode, and I'm hiding my geometry. But if I had the geometry, I'd see it animate the original Polymax modes versus my MLMM modes. And then you can see the improvements to the FRF synthesis. You can see the cost function, how it flattens out above 6 iteration. The other thing we did is we added a dedicated modal synthesis worksheet. It's a modal synthesis task. In 2506, we could do a modal dashboard. We could look at the FRF synthesis for a couple FRFs and then still save all of them to the run if you wanted. Here we can go to modal synthesis. And then I can synthesize the modes at any processing set and then pick and choose which FRFs I want to save into the project. And then we could also pick and choose which FRFs we'd like to save. For example, if we wanted a subset of the FRF saved, and that wasn't available inside 2506.